Okay, so you are watching this because you are going to help coordinate a perspectives class. That's fantastic. I'm so excited. You and I both know how this class changes people's lives. So thank you for taking this step of faith. My name is Bob Sjogren, and I've traveled the nation speaking at perspectives classes over the past 30 years. Recently, someone got the urge to start one here in Richmond, Virginia, where I live. So I emailed the coordinator and said I wanted to help. On our first meeting, our team assembled. There were 8 of us. As the night went on, we started talking about the minimum number of people that we needed to pull off the course. When that was said, something happened. Minimum, I thought. There's something wrong with that. And then my mind flashed back to the teachings found in the biblical basis for missions, the first 5 lessons, and thought through many of the major stories of the Bible and how we miss God's heart for the nations because we're so focused on us. Didn't we learn from David and Goliath to trust God to take on giants, and as a result the nations will be impacted? Didn't we learn from Esther to put our lives on the line for God's glory, and God would use that to touch nations? Didn't Jesus constantly put His disciples outside of their comfort zone and challenge them to trust Him for the supernatural? Isn't this the same God who told Elijah to pour water on the altar 3 times before it was supposed to be burned with fire? 3 times, and we're just trusting God for the minimum? If seeking to raise the minimum was all we did, we would not be living out the very message we're trying to get our students to obey. So we took a step back and said, wait a second. What's a goal that we feel is way beyond us that is really going to stretch us? And so we agreed upon a number that really stretched us. Then we made a commitment to do what I feel was the most significant preparation for the class. We said, okay, there are 8 of us. How about if each one of us takes 1 day a week to fast for this class? If we start tomorrow, we can fast nonstop until the class begins. And that is exactly what we did. The very next day, someone started fasting. I was put in charge of recruiting. In seeking to get students, we began to target multiple different types of groups. Here's some of the things that we did. We budgeted $600 for recruiting, and with the majority of that money, we met as many people as we could one-on-one, taking them out to a breakfast or lunch and challenging them personally. We also created a Facebook page so that others could spread the news virally. But we also created 10 one-minute video clips on why they should take this course and posted them on our website and on our Facebook. We also made an electronic brochure and sent that out to as many people as we knew. We also talked to as many homeschooled sophomores, juniors, and seniors as we could. We found that not only did some of them come, but some of their parents ended up coming as well. We also got a businessman to put up money and ran a radio advertisement, which I highly recommend to not do because we found out that no one really came due to the radio advertisements. Along with that, multiple church staff were challenged. We went to as many Christian schools as possible and got permission to speak in their high school students. In these, we spoke about the concept of bringing Christ back sooner by reaching all nations. That was the theme we drove over and over and over again. We also contacted every college student group we could find, like InterVarsity, Campus Crusade, and got permission to give a 5-minute announcement about the course. Again, we focused on bringing Christ back sooner. We also went to large churches and gave announcements in the Sunday school classes of both college and high school students. Each time we spoke to classes of any size, we passed around a clipboard and got the students' names and email addresses and kept in touch with those interested people via email. We did everything we could do to think of. While the kickoff night was about a month away, I personally got this knot in my stomach. We had done so many things, met with so many people, and it didn't look like that many were signing up. And the majority of those that I thought needed to take the course, those that I had met with, many of those that I'd met with one-on-one, said they weren't going to take it. But we kept on fasting and praying. And then in one of my regular quiet times, God spoke to me personally through the text on Jesus feeding the 5,000. It was there that I read Jesus' words to His disciples, you give them something to eat. How ridiculous was that? That was impossible for them. And Jesus said in my heart, yes, it is impossible for them, and it is impossible for you to get these people in your own strength. But then I saw that Jesus said, how many loaves and fish do you have? And it was there I felt the Lord say, just give me your loaves and fish. I will do the rest. Keep trusting me. Don't take your eyes off of me. So we kept on doing all that we could do, speaking to as many groups as possible while keeping our eyes on Jesus. All of a sudden, there was a whole new freedom in recruiting. When the introduction meeting was held, we had a little over 30 signed up. We kept praying and fasting. When the opening night came, one of the best signs took place. We had to bring in more chairs because more people showed up than what we expected. By the end of the first night, we were still quite a few short. Yet by the end of the second night, we were only short by about 2 or 3. And by the end of the third night, we were 1 over our goal. We'd made it. God had brought every one of them to the class. I wanted to get this testimony out to you because as I look back on all the recruiting we did, I believe it was our step of faith and the fasting, more than our actions, that made the class happen and helped us reach our goal. And you can do that as well. I asked Steve if he could use this video because we almost fell into the minimum trap. But now I believe the Lord doesn't want us to settle for the minimum number needed. I want to challenge you and your team to trust God for something that's so beyond what you could think you could do, that if He doesn't show up, you're dead. This is what perspectives teach us. This is what we need to live for. This is what we need to sacrifice for. This is what we need to trust God for. So go. Trust God for the supernatural. Go and make Him famous in your city. Pull in large numbers. Train them with a vision for God's glory among the nations.